we will first we have done in the previous class, the class which was doing yesterday, and then we'll move ahead. So let's go step by step. Anywhere, if you don't understand anything, please put it on the chat window. So with that, we can take your questions also. So we started with the basic stuffs. We told that in a general scenario, my hardware has to talk to my software. Now, if hardware has to talk to software, the most important thing which it will need is it will need an operating system. When I started talking about operating system, I told operating system can be Windows, it can be Mac, or it can be Linux or Unix. Then we told that when I start using Unix or Linux, I get advantage. What is that advantage? So I told that earlier, way back in 1960s, there was no software which will treat RAM as RAM and CPU as CPU. So General Electricals, AT&T Bell Labs, and MIT University, people from that team or that company, they started working on this software, named it as Multics, worked for around 20 years, but initially they were not able to get the success. Slowly, they scrapped the project. But there were few people like Dennis Ritchie, Ken Thompson, Doug McCloy, and Joe Osana. These were the few set of people who are still working on this project in the background. Obviously, funding is not there, means slowly they are working, but they were working. And in 1979, this guy called Dennis Ritchie came up with the software. And this software was then named as Unix. Now you can very well understand that it's a game changer. Now, because it's a game changer, every other company wanted to take a share of it. So these people sold it to Bell Labs, and then Bell Labs sold this product to IBM, Solaris, HP, Apple, and they gave their own names and they started using it. Down the line, some 5 years from there was another guy called as Linus Torvalds. Linus Torvalds, he just created a replica of this and he made it free and open source. Now, something for which people were paying a lot of money, now it is free of cost. So people started taking it from every corner. Wherever they went, wherever they found, they took this operating system and started using it. Not only cost was a distinguishing factor, but there were other things also, like it was simple to use. It was having multiple distributions. If you don't like Red Hat, use CentOS. If you don't like CentOS, use Debian. It was free software. It was giving you a better malware protection, and it gives you access to the source code where you can go ahead and change your code also, whatever changes you want to make. On top of that, it is allowing multiple users to log in at the same time. So if I have to debug, I have to think of anything related to server. Okay, then undoubtedly, this is a good tool.
Because
yeah, Gopi,
you're on mute.
No, man, I am not on mute. If you're not able to hear, please rejoin once.
I can't hear your voice actually.
Rejoin once. Wait.
Okay, sorry.
Rejoin once in case you are not able to hear. Fine. So this is what we discussed yesterday. Then on top of that, we started talking about a place where I will start practicing my content. Because at the end of the day, I told you will need to practice. So you need this shell, the bash, the shell, whatever you need a shell where you can write these commands and start your practice. So for that, what I told is, let's go to cloud, and on cloud, let's start the work. I asked you to choose a region. You can choose any region of your choice, something which is near to you, something which you fancy. Like I fancy North Virginia. I like North Virginia because any release which comes will first come here. So my personal choice is North Virginia, but let me say you are saying Singapore. So let's start with Singapore. Again, the choice can be anything. There is no problem in case you make a different region as a choice. Whatever choice you make, you can remove this guy. I don't want this. So whatever choice you make, it will pop up here. Then these are the services. what all services are available here. So all the services are available here. I need compute, and in compute, I need EC2. And this is a virtual server on cloud. So it's a brand new machine which I'm going to get on cloud, and I will be using it for my requirement. If you don't want to find it like this, you can come here and say EC2. So it says it's a virtual server in the cloud environment. Okay, I want it. So you can simply click here and you can start your work. When you have to start your work, obviously you need an account. You start here. You start with security group. Now the question is, what is security group? So to me, security group.
Come again.
Security group. Okay. 1 second.
Yeah.
So when I talk about security group, for me, this is security group. 1 second. Let me just open this image. Open image in new tab.
Your voice is not audible.
Please rejoin in case you are not able to hear. Please rejoin. Okay, so this image is not that great, but still it will give me the concept which I'm looking at. Or I can do one more thing. This is also not correct. 1 second. Let me just take the image. Open the image in new address, new tab. Okay, this is better. Now, for me, this is security group. Now, before EC2 instance, I see there is something called security group. Now, I will say this security group is a wall of defense. I will say this security group is a firewall for me. When I say firewall or a security group, basically I'm saying that any traffic which will come inside will first come to my security group. Security group will check whether it is a good traffic, it's a bad traffic. If it is a good traffic, it will allow it to go inside. If it is a bad traffic, it will not allow that traffic to go inside. Okay, so it is a firewall. In short, you can say it is a antivirus. Not exactly antivirus, but you can say it is a antivirus. So first thing what I'll do is I'll create a security group. Click on this. Now, when you start your work, you will see there will be a default security group available for you. But this default security group is of no use to me or very nominal use. Why? Because if you go to this place, inbound rule and outbound rule, let me just come here, inbound rule, you can see this is allowing everything to come in. See here, it is saying all traffic, and all traffic is all means everything is allowed to come inside. So I'm having a security guard at my gate who is not stopping anyone. Similarly, outbound, here also, I have the 1 second, man. Hello. Okay. So I can see the inbound and outbound is all traffic, means it is allowing everyone to go inside, everyone to come inside, which is not what I want. I want my firewall to allow only good traffic to come inside, and it should stop the bad traffic. So I'll create my own security group, and I will say, give a name, my Singapore security group. Give any name of your choice. Okay. In the description also, you can give the same thing. And this stays in your default VPC. Goes all the way here. Use decide the inbound rules. As of now, there is no inbound rule, means nobody is allowed to come inside. You tell who is allowed to come inside. You add rule. You say, I want the traffic to come from SSH which is port number 22. And I will allow only myself to log in. So my IP. So this is my machine's IP address. I want other team members to log in. So I will say custom. And suppose I have an IP range, like my company has an IP like, let me say, I will allow this range. Okay. Or for time being, you can keep as anywhere from IPv4. When you say anywhere from IPv4, you are basically allowing anybody who is there on internet to come inside your server. You can say this is SSH port. Okay. Always we have to do this setting. Now these security groups are something which can be reused. So once you create a security group, you can use it 1,000 times. So not every time you have to do the same thing. So SSH, I'll add one more rule. I will add HTTP. So you know HTTP is web traffic. So it will come from port 80. Again, I will say anywhere from IPv4 and I will say HTTP port. Okay. Then I will add one more rule, HTTPS. So one important thing which you should mention or see here is that these are some standard ports. And if you enable them, then only these are allowed. If you do not enable them, then these are not allowed. By default, nothing is allowed. I am opening the ports. So whatever port you open, based on that, the connection will get established. Now, let's go to outbound section. In outbound, it is saying all traffic. So I'm okay with that. I'm saying anybody goes out, I'm not worried about that, but I am more concerned who is coming in. So if you talk about inbound traffic, incoming traffic is what I'm looking at. If you talk about outbound traffic, I'm not considering that. In case you want, yes, you can consider it. But for time being, I'm not considering it. So this is done, inbound, outbound. In case you want, you can make changes here, but I'm not making changes. Tag is optional. I will just leave it as it is. And I'll say, I want to create the security group. And you will see a security group got created. The name is My Singapore Security Group. Now what I'll do is I'll again go to my EC2 dashboard. Here, the second thing which I'm going to create is a key pair. Key pair is nothing but it's a password. So password, why do you have to create a password? Because in cloud, the default username is known to everyone, or the username is known to everyone. So key pair or password is something which will distinguish you with other users. So here I will go to actions and here I'll go to create key pair and I will create a new key. So just click here. One second. So create a key pair. So it says a key pair consists of private and public key, a set of security credentials that will use to prove your identity when connecting to the instance. So in short, this guy is my password. Give a name, My Singapore KP. Now it is up to you. What type of encryption would you like to choose? Would you like to choose RSA encryption or ED256? So this is 256-bit encryption. Your choice. There is no hard and fast rule here. You can choose anything. Now again, your choice, whether you want a PEM key or a PPK key. Generally, it is not a hard and fast rule. Generally, if you are using a Mac operating system, use PEM key. If you are using a Windows operating system, use PPK. There's no hard and fast rule, but just take it like that only, that if I'm using Windows, I will be using. As of now, whatever we have done is free of, or we are doing is free of charge. The moment there is a cost involved, I will just let you know that there is a cost involved or there will be charges applicable. Again, you have created the key. Just come down and say, I want to create a key pair. The same key will be downloaded to your local machine and also it will be created here. Done. Again, come back here. Now refresh this guy. If you see here, I have created a security group, which is showing here. and I've created a key pair, which is showing here. Now here is where I want to go. I would like to create an instance for myself. Click on this. Here you see it says no matching instance, means there is nothing here which is running. Go here and say, I want to launch an instance. Now, launching an instance is like buying a brand new laptop. You go and say, okay, I need this operating system. I need this CPU. I need this RAM. So you tell all these things step by step. Security group is 2 because there was one security group by default. The other one I created. So there are 2 security groups. Now it comes here and says launch an instance. So to launch an instance, you will quickly get started. So to quickly get started, first, give me a name. What name would you like to give? So I'll say my Unix web server. You give any name of your choice. Again, a human readable name, anything is okay. Once you give a name, the second choice it will ask you to is to choose an operating system. What kind of operating system are you looking at? Are you looking at Mac operating system? You're looking at Red Hat, Windows, Ubuntu. So there are a wide variety of operating systems which are available. You make a choice. So while making a choice, it is very important for you to see whether it is covered under free tier or not. So this is the default one, Amazon Linux 2, which is the first one, this one. So if I click on this, free tier eligible. But if I go with Mac operating system, come here, Mac operating system, you will see Mac OS monitoring and nothing is written here. It means it is chargeable. Okay. Nothing is written here means it is chargeable. But if I go to this Ubuntu, free tier eligible. So whenever you are making a choice, make sure this guy is available here. Else you end up paying some or the other money. What money? You can go and check it in your pricing.aws.amazon.com. So you can check the price. So I am interested in this guy, Amazon Linux, and it is 64-bit. And this is the AMI ID, the unique AMI ID, which Amazon has allocated. I'm okay with that. So I chose Amazon Linux. I went with free tier. Instance type. So if I go with instance type, this is the RAM or the CPU. What RAM, what CPU you are looking at? Guys, give me 1 second. So I am going to run my application. Now this application is going to be instance type. Now you decide what CPU and RAM would you like to go with. So you can compare your instance type. So the moment you click on this instance type, it shows there are 444 varieties of EC2 instances. So 444. So what are the varieties? So the varieties are, give me 1 second. Okay, so here I make a choice of my operating system. If I make a choice of my instance type. Now it will depend what kind of speed you want, what kind of performance you want. Based on that, you take the RAM. So memory is how much memory is how many GBs of memory you want. So 0.61, 0.5, 0.2. So it goes all the way. If you keep going down here, you will see there is a machine with 192 GB RAM. You can think how big the capacity will be. Okay. Then you have, you can keep coming down. And here, one thing you will be able to see, it is also telling you the cost, 3.52 USD dollars per hour. And if you go with Windows, it is 6.84 USD per hour. Okay. So now if you see, you have a huge amount of cost involved. In case you are going with why security group still free? Yes, I'll tell you what is free, what is not free. Wait, I'll tell. So till now, I see that these many types of instances are there, but there are few where charges are applicable. There is one instance where there is no charges applicable, and that is T2 micro, which I can see here, T2.micro. So T2.micro comes with one core CPU and 1 GB RAM. So one core CPU, 1 GB RAM, and it is good. So here it is saying that it is having some cost, 0.01546. But if you go to your AWS, or it will show you here also. Wait, it will. So I'll just choose T2 micro, select. Here you can see it is free tier eligible. But if I go with something else, let me say I go with T2 medium, nothing is showing up, means it is not covered under free tier. Always remember that there is a component which is free, but Amazon is not here to sit and do charity. So whenever you do something wrong, you will be charged, and because your credit card, debit card is linked, they will deduct money. So T2 micro is free, one core CPU, 1 GB RAM. So I'm still under free tier. I'm using Amazon Linux 2. I'm using T2 micro. Now here it will ask me for the key pair. So again, the same thing. Key pair will help you to access your instance. So where is my instance, or where is my key pair? Click on this. You can see my Singapore KP is available. Choose it. Then come to network. Network will talk about a lot of things, but here I'm not interested about all these things right now. I'm interested about this guy. Select an existing security group. Click on this. In the existing security group, I have created one. So I will go with that. I will not go with the default one. I will go with the one which I have created, this one. Then finally, so just revise whatever I have done. I've given a name. I have installed, or I have taken an AMI, operating system. I have told what is the RAM and CPU. I have told what is the instance, what is the login credentials. And now I have told what is network. Now I'm interested in talking about storage. So what is the memory you want to associate? I can associate any amount of memory, 800. If you want, I can further add 500 GB. So there is no limitation here. You can add any amount of memory, but it is clearly saying if you go anything beyond 30 GB, it is again chargeable. So they give you free, but there are many limitations which are there. So I will go with 8 GB, which is much below than 30 GB. So it is covered under free tier. Now let me move ahead and go to the last phase. I leave everything as it is. And here it says this, whatever choice you have done, it is covered under free tier. You get 752 hours. T2 micro is free. If T2 micro is not there, then T3 micro is free. If T2 micro is unavailable. So T3 micro is free, and you will be charged anything above 30 GB, you will be charged. And that's it. Launch. Now, when you launch, you get a unique number. This is known as ARN, Amazon Resource Name. So this is the unique name which you get when Amazon. This is the unique name which Amazon gives you. Okay. Once you click on this name, one second. Okay, guys, so we can resume. So now if you come here, you can see your machine, my Unix, whatever you have created, you can see the name here, my Unix web server. You can see the instance ID here. You can see it is running, comes with T2 micro, and it is launched in AP South 1, Southeast 1. So Singapore is AP Southeast 1. And this is the IP address. Now, when you talk about IP address, there are two IP addresses which you get. One is this public IP address. One is this public IP address, and the other one is private IP address. So there are two addresses here, public, private. Now, like we individuals, we have two names, right? One is a pet name and the other is outside name.
Sometimes we get P1s and then we really have to wait for like us to get into the system and then assign. So instead
similarly, here you get two IP addresses. One is public IP, which will be used for external communication, and this private IP for internal communication. So this is used for internal communication, and this is used for
like something like this.
External communication.
Notifications are coming for change, right? But not for.
What is the benefit of this?
You can see them there.
One can hear other voices. Yeah, there is a disturbance at my side, so you can give me 1 second.
If we can do something like.
So if you see here, there are two names which are given: external communication, internal communication. Now, if I come here, so there is IP address. Okay, if I stop the machine, okay, if I stop the machine, this IP address will be gone. Okay,
yeah,
and next time when I start the machine, there will be a new IP address allocated.
Somehow, enable the user activation part.
1 second, man. When I started a brand new machine, I saw that I have two IP addresses. One was public IP address, the other was private IP address. So I told that public IP address will be used for external communication, and internal IP address or the private IP address will be used for internal communication. Now what I did is, this was initially running. I stopped it. Now the moment I stop it, this is gone. Okay. So because this is gone, I have to reallocate a new IP address. So I can just start the machine again. The moment I start it, this new IP address will be allocated. So it is randomly allocated. It is not that I have to go and allocate. It is randomly allocated. So give me 1 minute.
Yeah. So what it does,
I'll just
is
refresh here.
the cases from your, these are the filters I have put. Like assignment group should be service now, this task type should be key. So that's all. And then you show.
So you can see here, a new public IP has been allocated.
And once, and for the assignment, the assign that was working on, right?
So this is the new IP address. Let me copy this.
And here I put an assign function with a right string. The one that
So
I showed.
earlier, this was the IP address. Now this is the IP
So
address.
this is how I
Now,
configured that.
the question is,
Now,
how
what I'm
can
trying to
this
do
be
is,
fixed?
I'm trying to do that.
I don't want my
part.
IP to change.
What I think you
So-
can pick up is the notification. So if you, or anything else.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
whatever
Okay.
you
Wait
do,
a second, man.
whatever
There's a
it is.
background noise. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so guys, hopefully there should be no background noise now. So just let me revisit whatever I have spoken till now. So what I did is I created a brand new machine. Okay. The moment I create a brand new machine, I get a public IP address, I get a private IP address. The problem with public IP address is that it is randomly generated. And the moment I stop it, it is gone. And then a new IP address is allocated. But the private IP address, which is mostly used for internal communication, stays as it is. There is no problem in the IP address which I get from private, but I don't, or I can't use it for any external communication. Internal within AWS, yes, I can use it. Now I want to fix the IP address. What should I do? So I have something called Elastic IP here. So I will go here, click on Elastic IP, and I will allocate a Elastic IP to myself. So as of now, I don't have anything. So I'll come here and say associate a Elastic IP. So in Amazon's pool of IPv4 address, I can allocate a IP to myself. 5 IP addresses, I'll repeat, 5 IP addresses are free per account. So if you take 5 IP addresses, it is not chargeable, but anything more than that is chargeable. So I've taken this IP address. Again, it is randomly allocated. I will come here and I will say, associate this Elastic IP with my instance. So this is my instance, which is running. Come all the way here and say associate. Now what will happen is this IP address 18.136.178.40 will be allocated to your EC2 instance. And that is permanent. You start your machine, you stop your machine, do whatever you want to, but that will stay permanently with you. You can see here, the Elastic IP has been allocated. Your public IP has also changed. And now it is permanent with you. It is not going to change. So once no, you cannot rename. There is no such scenario. You cannot rename. So this IP will remain as it is. This name, if you want to change, this name, if you want to change, this you can change. From my Unix server, you want to just name it as Unix server. Yes, you can make a change here. So this is allowed, but this is not allowed. So this is your Elastic IP, and corresponding to this, this is your permanent or a private IP. Now, why am I doing or why am I talking about IP so much? Because at the end of the day, when I connect, I will connect using IP only. So to connect to this machine, I'll click here, connect. Here there are multiple ways to connect. The easiest way is EC2 connect. Here I have the IP address, the same IP which I got some time back. I have the machine's ARN. I have the default user. Just see the default user is EC2 minus user and simply say connect. So the moment you say connect, it will connect to your machine. Obviously, the other things should be intact, like your internet speed, firewall should not block. So you are able to connect. Okay, give me 1 second. What is the purpose of this? I just now told what is the purpose of external IP and an internal IP. When I say internal communication, means within AWS, there is one EC2 inside AWS, another EC2 inside AWS. So when you say internal communication, I am concentrating on within AWS. All the servers are within AWS. So in that case, I will say it is an internal communication. But the moment I go outside in the sense, let me say there is a server which is running outside AWS environment, I say it is external communication. Okay. 5 means 5, not 5 times. 5 IP address means as of now, I have 1 IP address. So as many times as you want, but the count will be maximum 5. Okay. Can we access different computers and laptops? No, you cannot access different computers and laptops. You can only access the one which you have created. So if the same instance, you want to access it from a different place, yes, you can. But the IP address you should know. So basically you should know these details. Let me just come here. These are the details which are mandatory. So if you have these details, you can connect. Okay. Now, this is something we can use and release. Yes, you can use and release. The moment you use it or you allocate it, it is counted as 1. The moment you release it, it becomes 0. So you can use and release as per your requirement. You can at any point of time release the IP address. So how to release the IP address? Let me say I want to release the IP address. How to do that? So simply come here. Okay. You want to release the IP address. Come back to your Elastic IP. Come to actions. Here you can say disassociate the Elastic IP address. You can disassociate. The moment you disassociate, it is free. Now you go back to your EC2 instance. You can come back here. And here you will see a new IP address has been allocated. So you can see a new IP address has been allocated. Again, if you want to connect, close all these things. You want to connect, click on this new IP address, this name of the machine, default user, come here and say connect. So now you will be able to connect. But there is one problem with this type of connection. There are 2 IPs which I forget to release. After one, see again, the billing and all, it keeps on changing. So I cannot say it is $2, $3, $1 or $5. Anything related to price, come here to pricing.aws.com. So here, wait a second. So you have to come here to AWS pricing and you have to check the price. So pricing is something which constantly changes. So I cannot exactly tell you what is the price. So either you have to contact AWS itself or you have to go and read this document. Somewhere they will tell you that what component is how much. So they will tell you cost of each component. But I would want you to stick to free tier. Do not forget. And if you do not release, obviously they will charge. So any unnecessary usage will be tracked and you will be charged for that. Go by the simple thumb rule. The simple thumb rule is when I need it, I will take it. Once my work is done, I will release it. I will either stop it or terminate it. If you go by this thumb rule, there is no cost involved. If you do not follow this thumb rule, then there is a lot of cost involved. So don't use anything if you don't want it, and don't keep it running. Okay. Close this. Now, if I connect by this, it never asked me for my password. It means this is not the efficient way, or this is not the right way to connect. So what's the right way? So here, if you come, it says SSH client. Now, SSH client can be anything. So you can install a tool called MobaXterm. There's a tool. There is a tool called Putty. So you can install any tool which is good for you, and you can start your work. So if you go to Putty, you can download Putty. Again, this is what I'm saying is for Windows. You have Mac. Then if you have Mac, in your Mac terminal, directly go and type this command. This point number 4, whatever command you see, you directly type this command, it will just connect. Okay. Raj, I will come to all these things. 5 IP addresses is IPv4 closing to an end. You don't worry about it. There are ample number of IPv4 addresses for you, and Amazon has those many IP addresses. So just don't worry about that for time being. We will be going ahead with our work right now. So I'm going with SSH client. It says open the SSH client. So for me, my SSH client is Putty. So consider that I'm using a Windows machine and I have downloaded Putty. So after I download Putty, next, you install Putty. Finally, you see here, Putty is an app. Click on this. Once you come here, you will open a window like this. It says host name or IP address. So here you will not provide your private IP address. You will give your public IP address. So my public IP address is this guy. Take this. Come here. Sorry, not here. Go to Putty. It says, what is your host IP address? Provide it. Whatever IP address you got, put it here, whether it is Elastic IP or normal IP, but do not give private IP, okay? Then come to SSH, click on the plus button. On SSH, you'll see a plus button. Click on this. Then you will see auth, not on the plus button. On the auth key press, go to browse, and from here, go to the key. So this is the key I have created, my Singapore KP, which got downloaded to my local. Double click. And if you want, you can change the appearance. So here you see there is appearance. It is font size is 10. I want to make it a little bit bigger. So I'll change it. I'll make it as 16. Okay. Open. It says, would you like to connect? I'll say, yes, I would like to connect. And here you go. It is saying login as. So if you remember, your default username is EC2-user. So with EC2-user as your username and with my Singapore as your password, you are able to log in. And it is giving you some IP address. Now, what is this IP address? If you come back here, you will see this is your private IP address, 172.31.25.157. See here, 172.31.25.157. Now, if you see carefully, yes, with Mac operating system, you can use Mac terminal. You don't have to install Putty or anything like that. You can start with your Mac terminal. Now, if you see here, you are logged in as an EC2 user. So anyhow, you are able to see, but still, if you want to know who am I says who is the user. So it is telling EC2 user is the user. Now this user, you would like to rename or you want to change the user. So you can say sudo means switch user. Su means super user or root user. So if you give this command sudo su hyphen, you become a root user. Again, if you say who am I, it will tell you that you are a root user. Then on top of that, this is the IP address. I don't want to see this. I would like to see my human readable name. So I can say host name, give any name of your choice. Let me say Linux server. Linux server. And again say sudo -. Now you can see this name 172.31 something 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 has been changed by this name called Linux server. Let's clear it. Now I'm all set to do my work. Now, where will I start? Because there are so many Linux commands available. So I will go to internet, and on internet, you can come here and say, suppose you are a very much beginner, you can say 50 Linux commands. And you can start. Or you can say top 100 Linux commands. And you can start. If you are very confident, say top 500 Linux commands and start. So it is just to start. I will cover all these things in the class, but just to start, you can start with 500 Linux commands, 100 Linux commands. If you're okay with the demo, or if you are okay with the content, you can pick anyone and you can get started. Suppose you're not comfortable with this, you come here and say Linux cheat sheet. When you come to Linux cheat sheet, go to images. And here you will see hundreds and thousands of cheat sheets. Whichever you find is suitable for you, take that and start the work. Tomorrow in the class, when we start, we will start with the Linux commands. But before going into the Linux commands, I would like you to just get an experience or just to know how to write. So here, you can start writing your commands. Like there is a command to make a folder, mkdir, means make directory or make a folder. The name of the folder is sample. Enter. So now if you see a folder with the name sample is created. How can you see that? ls -l. So ls means list, show me. So ls -l. So it is showing me a folder with the name as sample. I want to go inside the folder, cd and sample. Enter. And now I am inside the folder. How can I see? pwd. So inside root, I'm inside sample folder. pwd is present working directory. So like this, what we will do is we will go ahead and take care of all these things. So we will cover lots of commands like touch, cd, ls. So there is a big list of commands which we will start working with tomorrow. So for today, the takeaway from today's class will be that you know what is Unix and Linux. You know why Unix and Linux is preferred over other operating system. You should know that if I have to work on Linux or Unix, I should have an account with AWS. And once I have an account with AWS, I should log into one particular region. There, when I go for the first time, I have to create a security group and a key pair. And using that security group and key pair, I have to log into my server. Once logged in, I can make nominal changes and I can start typing the commands. And tomorrow when we start from here. Now, if you have any questions, you can please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, because I have one question.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
IP addresses, as you shown, we can change till 5 IP addresses only. Okay. So if I when I start my practice, so whatever the IP addresses will come, so whatever the IPSs it will give me automatically if I'll keep that. So will it be charges or chargeable? Or?
5 IP addresses are free. Okay.
Okay.
So 5 IP addresses will not be charged.
Okay. And if I'll change the IP address and fix it,
you delete one,
delete
one more, it will not be chargeable.
Okay. And today I was opening my account in this. So when I tried with my email ID, because earlier I have also tried, so it was showing that you have already an account. So it was showing me a root user or I am user, something like that.
You in yesterday's class, I told you have to go by root user. When you create your own account,
Okay.
You should choose root user and should go by root credentials. Root credentials in the sense your email ID and your password.
Correct. And other user is chargeable or like.
Other user is something else. It is an IAM user. As of now, just ignore that.
Okay.
For time being, just go with root user and provide your email ID, password, and connect.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have also,
Hi, Vikas.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Vijay.
Yeah.
As you told that you have to create an account of AWS, right?
You have to create
Yeah.
an account with AWS, okay?
Yeah, I have created now. That seems to be that a little bit confusion of that AWS and DevOps.
Tell me again. Wait. Tell me again.
I'm little bit confusion of AWS and DevOps.
Okay.
Is this equal or a little bit different for sufficient in
It is
packages?
sufficient. See, it is sufficient. Whatever I will be teaching you, that is sufficient.
Okay. If you don't mind, can I ask you one thing? You're telling that coordinates and letting you know that interviews or meeting timings that will be.
I'm not able to understand you. Can you repeat your question?
There will be coordinates, right, in the WhatsApp group. So in what time I will be coordinated with them?
You contact with them anytime, no? Why are you waiting for some time?
No, I don't have any coordinates with them.
Who is sharing the link with you?
My friend.
Then ask your friend who is sharing the link with him. So that guy is the coordinator.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you connect it to the root server, does the root, like if you connect to Windows server, usually
Windows will be a little different, not exactly same. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I understand, but does the Linux server have a user interface like a GUI?
Yeah, GUI, yes.
The Windows server has it, right?
Yeah, obviously Windows.
But the Linux server, does it have it? Because every time I see this page, every time they open a Linux server, so I'm wondering whether it has the same like a Windows, like a graphical user interface.
No. The Linux GUI is different. One second, just let me come here. It will be very much different. See, if you just say Linux GUI, okay, the Linux GUI will look something like this. But the GUI and this is your GUI of Linux, Ubuntu basically.
Oh.
If you go to Windows,
Okay.
Windows will be different. Windows will be definitely different. So images. Windows will be something like this. The screen will look something like this. So Windows is owned by Microsoft. So
Thank you.
okay. Contact your coordinator. Yeah, please contact your coordinator. I did not understand the command concept. I will cover the commands. Give me some time. Okay. So the coordinator has shared his number. So in case you don't know your coordinator numbers, please go ahead and get in touch with them. They will contact you. They will give you the recordings, the PPTs, everything is with them. So they will share all these things with them.
And sir, here one more thing. When we are creating the key pair, there is an option called directly we can create when we are selecting the key pair.
Yes, you can.
And why you have created before only?
Because I want to keep things simple. Initially, see, you need to understand one thing. If there are 10 people in a room, not every 10% will have the same learning capability. There will be few who are slow learners. There will be few who will be sharp. So we will have to take everyone together. So when we start step by step, and then once we are aware of the basics, then we can go ahead with that.
Okay. And this commands concept, I really don't understand, sir. You please make us clear. No?
I will teach you step by step. Hold on. Means, see, it is like there are a lot of things. So a lot of things cannot be covered in day one. So we go step by step. Within a day or two,
Yeah.
we will be very comfortable with all these things.
No, my question is that particular command is used for what?
That I will
This
teach
way.
you. I'll teach you.
Okay. Okay.
People say like Rome was not built in a day. So Rome took time. So if you say that I have to learn DevOps, I have to learn the commands, it will take time. Give some time. I will teach you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Vikas. But you are going too fast, bro.
Okay, you please drop a message to your coordinator. I will just get in touch with you. We can separately connect on this.
Okay. Okay.
Fine. Yeah, we'll go step by step. Fine. So that is all what I have from my side.
And how much time it takes to share this video, sir?
See, generally 2
In the
to 3
group?
hours is what the system takes or the software itself takes. So after that, you can expect. Total course duration will be 60 to 70 hours, not 60 days, 60 to 70 hours.
Okay.
Total will be 60 hours. Okay, fine. So please get in touch with your coordinators. They will let you know all the details. See you then, guys. Bye-bye.
No, bye, Vikas.
Bye, Vikas.
Hello.